Go ahead and take it, guys. Take it from here.
All right, thank you very much, Stunna. It is almost time to start the final day here from the DreamHack Astro Open live from Atlanta as we get ready to jump into our first map here on Train. Now, Cisa, let's talk about this a little bit more. How do we think that this matchup is going to roll in general?
I have high hopes for CLG, to be honest. We saw Kusta come alive against Kingwin yesterday. The whole team actually woke up from their first day kind of blues. These guys typically have qualifier blues. Not the case as they're here today and this throughout the whole tournament. I'm happy that they finally got it together against Kingwin. They're playing Train, a map that Immortals also are not afraid of whatsoever. They're feeling pretty comfortable with. I'm going to kind of reiterate what Hayes said on the desk. If Scrim Kusta shows up, then he's almost unstoppable. So hopefully Kusta shows up. They do have that double out potential. Very deadly on Train. But so does Immortals. So these teams are going to go head-to-head, and I'm excited to see how they both want to play it out.
Yeah, and we should be getting started here in just a couple of moments. I'm hoping that we do see that performance from CLG, right? Because you always want to see that good North American upset here at a big stage land. But the problem is Immortals have just made so many good strides recently.
Yeah.
You know, changing up the IGL may throw a bit.
They've done that twice now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It went Steel, Bolt, Steel.
I do feel like Steel is better at it personally.
Yeah.
Though. I feel like Steel's more suited
sure.
to the role generally, and I feel like just as an overall fragger, Bolts is a little bit more consistent on the table. So I feel like it's a pretty good choice, to be honest. But we'll see how it fares out. Obviously, is with them changing it up recently. I imagine it could be something that would change itself up again. But it does look like it is time, folks, to jump into that first map. So welcome back once again. We're in Montreal, by the way. I believe I made a slight mistake there earlier. So let's jump into the pistol round as Immortals will be starting off on the T side, and CLG will be jumping onto the CT side. We do want to remind you folks, by the way, that you can also watch this match over on Sliver TV, where you can not only catch all of the action, but you can also win some prizes as well. So be sure to go ahead and check that out once again over at sliver.tv.
Ricky backside already going to have pressure. It's a quick play from Immortals. Ricky will get the first, but Henny's quick to trade. As Ricky is getting support from Z. That smoke on the bombs train doesn't really help Immortals that much. They want to jump in it and plant. But when your bomb gets caught trying to cross it, it's never a good look, as Steel will be able to clean up Ricky into a 2v2, and Bolts is here to play already early this morning. As it is just Ethan, the young gun, in a 1v2, knows where the bomb's going down, has to work around the site, missing some shots, will finally connect as it's into a 1v1. But he's lost sight on Steel, Ethan swings, and he'll get it done. CLG, the NA boys, plus FNS, the Canadian, are here to play early. But Immortals, kind of that, it's early in the morning, quick play right out ladder.
Yeah. You can hear some hype as well coming out from, I think, the CLG side over there. So they're happy about that one right there, especially with how close Ethan was to going down. He clutches that out with just 3 HP left over, so just barely winning it. Big plays from him, though, and a big start for CLG, and that's exactly the way they want to start the day off.
I'm excited to see if Immortals is going to keep that kind of quick, loosey-goosey, almost disrespect play going up against CLG. A lot of teams, when they know they're superior over their opponents, will just get that disrespectful kind of role stuck in their brains, and they'll tend to run out a bit more. We'll see how structured Immortals are going to be here, as they're not going to invest pretty much nothing. They have one flash. There it goes over. They got the bomb plant, so they're just going to try to... It's almost a throwaway round. They'd love to get the plant, but it is just going to be a farmland right now for CLG.
Yeah, pretty easy cleanup here. Immortals, unfortunately, not going to find themselves getting much done. They save in this round, obviously, as they're looking towards that round number 3 to be buying up. I think they were hoping to get a second plant here, but definitely not going to be happening. As you can see, no utility bought up at all. And they get crushed pretty quickly there. So now this takes us into the third round, where we will see the first investment for the Immortals. Pretty much just going to be straightforward. AK is not really room for an op or anything to come into the picture. And pretty limited utility, too, as a result of not getting that second plant.
I imagine CLG are going to put these MP9s aggressively. They could go for the double up ladder with the MP9s and have one of the riflers from site support and hold their T-Con. You kind of almost have to be aggressive with the MP9. There you go. Ricky gets caught trying to cross. FNS actually wins that duel with his MP9, but a quick trade comes in from Lucas. As now CLG feel pressure to make a move, and it is going to be Cutler. Take that upon himself. Pops some shots up, but just misses, and that's a critical mistake, as it just leaves Ethan in a 1v4 now. Immortals, again, with a quick play towards Outer.
And a quick change-up as well, right from the first gun round here. Immortals immediately showing their impact, and Ethan's going to have to look to try and clutch things back out again, but probably not going to happen. They already knew he was sitting behind the bomb train there somewhere. It was just a matter of fishing him out into the open and finishing him off, which Lucas will do with flying colors, giving Immortals their very first round.
But here comes the full force of CLG. The op gets out on Ricky. Interesting to me that he'll be the one wielding it first over Kusta. So that could be a tell for something in the near future. As Kusta will stick to that M4, double FAMASs come out. And decent amount of utility. They do have the one Molly. Mollies are lovely to have on train, but they do have the rifles. And the Op and Z going to be that quick rotator. So it comes down to if Immortals want to get, again, disrespectful, just run out towards T-Con. And they're showing aggression early, already peeking out ladder. Cutler will clean up bolts for the first. Kusta tries to swing. That's a 1-for-1 in favor of Immortals right off the get-go until Ricky's rings one frag out.
So CLG taking back that quick control. Now the question is, how is Immortals going to attempt to make up for this? They have a pretty detached setup now to try and come back from this one. It's Steel missing his opponent sitting down below there, sneaking out through the short lane. Cutler's going to be able to just knock another one right off the top. And now it's down to both Henny and CLG. Henny trying to sneak in from those box halls over there, but unfortunately he won't get much done. For CLG, it's a bit of a different story though. He is able to find Cutler, taking him out of the picture. Still a disadvantage for them, but if they can slowly sneak around the map and knock these guys out 1v1, they may yet have an opportunity. Thankfully, they have plenty of time to do this too. Just now hitting a 45-second mark, and as you can see, they have managed to make their way out. They've gotten partial control of the A-bomb site. CLG even trying to scout players out over here inside of the old bomb tunnel, but it's going to be Ricky that dives in, kills the bomb carrier. Thankfully, it's close enough so that CLG can retrieve it, but the problem is there's more and more players sitting in that back lane, and CLG just saw one of them. Cancels the plant, he'll smoke back out the Ivy lane, and finally commit to this. So at the very least, it guarantees the bonus money for himself and his teammates, but his post-plant position is not the greatest right now. He's going to have to find a way to get back and get into a better spot. That's exactly what he's done. Lines up a shot as well against Finesse. 2 more to go. Or yeah, just has to wait out the timer here. As now he sits behind the red train next to E-Box here. The second frag that he's going for, but he can't get it done. Ethan will take him down, and CLG take back control.
CLG did a lovely job there just sneaking down Ivy. With Henny going towards ramp and finding that contact towards B in upper brown, it forced a couple rotations out from CLG, knowing there's only 2 alive, and if one's committing towards upper brown, odds are the second's close behind. So CLG did a nice job of playing the timing and lurking down Ivy and catching the one player alone trying to go heaven. Well, he'd be able to anchor the A site, but caught him on the ladder. Henny immediately rotates, but CLG, just having the numbers there, it's kind of just out-trading there into this situation. Immortals will still get a comfortable buy across the board, although the op advantage is still in CLG's hands. CLG do have a bit more utility, so this is an early turning round right now.
CLG trying to go for the boost up here with Ricky. Since Immortals have been doing a lot of quick outside pressure, it looks like they want to try to counter that out a bit more. Smoke's in the way, though, is going to give CLG a bit of room. In fact, that's a
Is that an on-purpose smoke? That'd be interesting.
That would be, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself. I haven't seen that before. But
earbuds.
I think it is on purpose, because look, KNG's even trying to like, kind of abuse it there now. To see if you can see feet below it. That's interesting. But Ethan as well spots the play from upper, and that's going to be where the majority of the hit works its way in from. Good work from Ethan, though. He's not only able to grab one, but he does decent damage to his second. Lucas, he's there for the trade, though, and now Ricky is trying to stop this third player pushing out on top, looks away, but that player's not going to push back in. He's the one that's going to be sitting back and waiting this out. Now KNG lurks in, but hello, there's Ricky waiting for you right there with the op. Lucas and Steel both picking up kills on inner again, though. Thins out the numbers from CLG even more. Kusta and Ricky, the last 2 remaining now. Steel does get lit quite a bit, so that's going to push them back and open up an opportunity, and they lose bolts as well. Great flash to allow Steel to go back into the fray, though. And as he moves in, he takes down Kusta, just leaving Ricky in this fight. Both the players from Immortals are low, but with Ricky pushing in, he seals his own fate.
A little sloppy, but Immortals get it done in the end. When they were trying to go upper, when a team flash came in from Immortals and blinded the 2 players as they tried to cross the site, Ethan just got timing as he was holding back lanes, knowing that the Ts are more likely to push down towards back lanes, try to get CT control, push towards Z, and cut off those rotations at the ankles, and Ethan just gets timing as he looks towards upper, and Steel pushes in the back. So Immortals getting the job done. CLG, an early sent down to the grave right now with just these pistols, but it is an investment from them as well. They're going to go pretty much all in here.
Lucas moving in, and he just catches Finesse with a knife out there, so it's easy to take him out of the picture. Bit of an unfortunate timing on the switch for Finesse. Kusta also is going to get knocked out by Steel as he attempts to push back up the ramp. And Bolt's actually almost taking down an additional player here too. He's got Ethan pushed back, and he's going to finish off the job. It's just easy days here for Immortals on these eco rounds. Not showing any signs of struggling at all against this half-buy from CLG.
Ricky's nowhere to be seen. He does have armor and deal. Possibly try to find just 1 frag for the road, perhaps. A little snack. Immortals will be flawless into this one, I imagine. And Immortals are playing a very quick pace. We haven't seen them settle into a default too often. They've been just going straight into executions, normally right off the rip. We've seen a couple outer executions with just running down ladder and out T-Con and splitting. They have set up those smokes, though. and then committed on the back of those. And KNG's been in this kind of lurk role. It's getting a little awkward for Ricky here. We'll see if Immortals are going to chase. I don't imagine.
Yeah, Ricky's looking for a battle he can win. Not just a battle. Oh, pulling away, and there you go. There's the headshot. Second one. Nah, he got caught changing weapons there, so Henny is going to trade him out. No save, but again, he only had a deagle armor, so it's not like he loses a huge amount of arsenal there. But they do have to eco again.
Yep.
So in hindsight, it might have actually been useful to keep that deagle alive.
He's got the Zeus, though. Fair replacement.
That's a great weapon.
It's a fair replacement. So now we may see a little more of a safe play from Immortals, knowing that they've broken CLG's economy. They realize there are upgraded pistols in that round, so possibly a little more reserve. Nice. As KNG, yeah, we'll find the opener on Akusta. Bolts will swing on the back of it, so they go on the pick. They know that they're feeling pretty comfortable into this round, and it's pretty safe.
Bolts as well, just a little bit of patience there as he lines up the spray. Some assistance from Henny comes in to take down Cutler, and here we go. This is the Zeus. It's even, whatever that is. No, not this time. Zeus is one of those weapons where it's, 20% of the time it works every time, You
ever play with the NA's best Zeus player? He only uses the Zeus and Pugs. I forget his name, but he has like over 50,000 kills a month with the Zeus. It's something ridiculous like that. I got in a Pug with him.
How?
That's all he buys. And he doesn't drop you guns. He's the best teammate to have. So a pause is going to come in here. I believe this is a CLG timeout. Talking things through. They get the op out on Kusta this time. Again, it's a buy where they're light on utility, so it's going to be interesting to me how CLG want to set this one up. We could see some CT-sided aggression. I know they do like to go for that kind of ladder aggression, where they'll put 2 players in ladder, have the op support them back green. So pretty much they can go for any setup they really wish right now with the op out in Kusta's hands. I'd like to see some aggression, solely based on how aggressive Immortals have been. But on the same flip side of the coin, they can't really afford to be aggressive because they don't have the utility to hold Immortals back at the beginning of the round to get in these positions. So it's a catch-22. Bolts already. He's already pushed up to sandwich. Just smokes right off the rip. I think Immortals are going to try to keep this pace going the entire half.
Yeah, he doesn't even care about the pressure. Oh, the bait jump to let Lucas get the first kill. Ricky will trade it out onto Lucas just a moment later. But look at how quickly the plant comes in. The problem is they don't actually really clear out the site. They didn't smoke it that well either. So there's a lot of opportunities for CLG to punish this, and we can see that coming into effectiveness now. It's all of a sudden down to a 4v2, now a 4v1. Up to Bolts. He trades one of those kills back, so opens up the part of this clutch. He's got a long, long way to go, and they know already where he's playing from here. There's a couple options to where he could have gone, but when he peeks back out into the sandwich, Ricky's going to quickly take him down, and another round for CLG will go up onto the board, tying this up at 4-4.
Yeah, you mentioned in that time the speed of Immortals comes back to bite them. They just throw the smokes right off the get-go, get to the site, plan as quickly as they can, and CLG were playing back enough to the point where Immortals quick play and quick entry frags to the site, they couldn't find any. So CLG also having Ethan towards Heaven, it was a nice counterbalance there to the quick play from Immortals. So CLG were ready from that pace again. As Immortals, they'll have built up a bank. There's still 10,000 on KNG, and he hasn't even bought yet. So they're actually going to go for the double up on T side. Interesting prospect here, considering it's 4-4 right off the get-go, and CLG have it in play as well.
Yeah, CLG have always, even going back to the older rosters, they've always tended to favor double ops. Unfortunately, when you have that double op, you're going to tend to get a little bit more aggressive with it, and you take the risk right there. Oh, both of them get eliminated right from the get-go, too. Cutler quickly picks up the op, however, and is able to do quite a bit of work with it. 2 kills from him, so we're even again. We traded it back. We're down to that 3v3. Fidesi's got to be very, very careful, though. Immortals have been no strangers to pushing out aggressively, but he'll get some assistance from Ethan as he's boosted up on top of Ticket, taking down Henny in the process. Now leaves just KNG and Lucas rolling for the Immortals. Lucas getting himself very close up, and so is KNG. Both are going to try to push through the sandwich over to the bomb site, but look who's waiting behind that train. 2 members from CLG, however, they both backed away. They've left it wide open. So Immortals have the freedom to plant, as CLG, for whatever reason, seem to think it's gone to an inner hit, when that's certainly not the case.
I think that's just a case of Immortals falling silent, and CLG feeling the need to just fall back, knowing they don't have Ivy control, and they really only have 1 player on site and 2 in Z, and so they are just going to regroup here back lanes. As Ethan's going to work up. Lucas will plant. This is planted for back red.
Yeah, look at the back tunnels, though.
Yeah, they're going to go for a 3-pronged retake.
Oh, my goodness.
What the quick reactions from KNG, as now he's going to be posted onto Z. And Lucas is just going to peek from sight, and Lucas and KNG together will get it done. CLG, a little antsy, so they quick rotate to B. And they have the numbers for that retake, but just they're hitting their shots, Immortals. I don't even know. These boys literally walked in like 10 minutes to game time, too. So they just wake up ready.
Easy.
That flick was unreal.
I mean, the 1v2 from Lucas there right at the end as well. I mean, just no hesitation at all going for that second kill. Knows exactly what he's doing and immediately locks on to get the frag there. So beautifully done. CLG are going to find themselves broken again here. As you can see, just a couple upgraded pistols. Finesse is the only player that buys armor. We've already seen Immortals kind of clean these up, you know, 3-4 times in this map so far. So I wouldn't see any reason as to why CLG would be able to upset here. Well, maybe that's going to be a reason. A couple whiff shots at the beginning from KNG. Bolt will make up for that, though, as he's been the point man for a lot of these outer hits. He's going to go, and he's already picked up 1 kill. Now it's just a matter of hunting down the other 4.
KNG will get it eventually, I believe. Bolts goes down. All right. I like that from Cutler with the D.
Come on,
Henny and KNG are both having a rough time here.
You gotta hit one of these shots.
It's rough out here against these pistols. The movement's too good. There we go. He'll finally connect the shot onto Ethan. And somehow we just transitioned to a 3v3. Kusta's pushed up aggressive. And FNS with armor. Oh, he spots the toe. He's gonna take the shot. There you go. Just a sliver underneath the train, as FNS does have an AK. Trying to hold that back angle from back sight. It looks like he's just gonna retreat, as Immortals are still want to commit to this.
KNG as well, missing another shot, and this time it's going to lead to his death. Henny trades, but a quick headshot from Finesse trades it out, and Finesse will have Steel just swinging into the open while blind. And with that, he'll clutch it out for CLG, giving them a round that they had absolutely no business winning at all.
What was that? A CZ and a Deagle is all they had, and 3 default USPs.
I think Finesse did have armor behind his buy as well,
he had armor behind his,
that's it. That's all they had. They didn't have any utility, nothing else to work with there. And as you can see, just
I like it. I don't know if the missed shots kind of came into play there.
As we saw on the replay.
Kept attention. And Immortals, again, just trying to commit to the A site. They even knew what was going on. They still just want to take all these duels. So FNS, good job. Ethan, legged early, will drop his molly and try to fall back. I think Kenny wants to push the smoke based on his positioning. As FNS will hold Ivy. Has the op acoustic towards back green / hold hell. It looks like Immortals are finally going to slow things down. They are looking towards the B site. It's been a while since they've glanced towards that side of the map. They do have 3 players towards top brown. And they're just going to keep presence towards T-Con and Ivy to start this round off.
Well, at the moment, not a whole lot happening across the map here. Immortals are still looking for that one opportunity they can have to get into the site. As we mentioned previously, they did manage to leg Ethan when he peeked ramp back at the inner bomb site, but besides that, they haven't made any traction just yet. They also are not sitting with a whole lot of utility, to be completely honest. I've just noticed this now. I'm imagining they used quite a bit of it early on here, but after that smoke from Steel just got tossed out, only KNG has 1 smoke remaining here, so they don't actually have a lot to set up a push with. And now Henny, well, okay, Henny just makes a very risky push, and thankfully for him, it plays out. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't. He's going to miss a close-up shot, and Finesse, in the meanwhile, out on the outer site, is just dominating things, at least until he gets traded by Steel. Ricky, as well, with the additional pickup, has left Steel as the last player alive here. And all right. One of the 2 offers spots him. And finally, Ricky will swing around the corner, finish him up with a quick USP headshot. CLG are back in the driver's seat once again as they take the lead 6-5.
I really like what CLG did there. If you notice, FNS and Kusta were working together to hold Ivy and back green. And then about 50 seconds on the clock, they realize there's barely any pressure coming from Ivy. It must be a 1 player working a default. They smoke. Kusta starts to push towards T-Con, and FNS completely rotates towards ladder. And he gets aggressive and gets the opening pick for it. He has support, and he ends up getting a second. So good play from CLG, realizing the situation and knew exactly what Immortals were up to, especially considering they had Ethan locking down the B side at the exact same time. So now Immortals are going to be on the pistols for the first time into this game, and Kusta going to get the first one with a big, I guess not a green op, a purple op this time.
It's green under the skin.
That's true.
Ethan moves back in, he gets a second kill. The Opera will get pushed back, but Ethan and Kusta as well, they're here to save the day. The Molly actually does get the frag, but I think Ethan does most of the damage there. So bringing it down to just 2 for the Immortals. Same as before, we haven't seen a whole lot of upsets on eco rounds. CLG obviously winning their previous eco, but besides that, these rounds so far on this map have been relatively straightforward. And it looks like this is going to be another one here, unless Bolts and Henny could somehow pull off a miracle in a 2v5 with just P250s. Henny seems to have already pretty much resigned back over here. He's going to throw in a smoke to maybe try to get a couple players to rotate off of B, potentially opening up a small opportunity for Bolts to go in and at the very least to get a plant.
Yeah.
But no.
That was the play until Kusta didn't rotate whatsoever. He was just holding that angle towards Z, towards ramp. No bomb plant for them whatsoever. 7-5 CLG starting to pull this one back in their favor. The double ops and Kusta and Ricky have been doing lovely work, shutting down the aggression from Immortals, who now have to switch up their game plan. Henny May just go for the just straight armor AK here. That's going to be the case. So no, very limited utility for Immortals. A team that loves to throw the smokes right off the get-go so far into this game and follow up on it. We'll see what their game plan is going to be. I imagine a default play very pick-based into this round.
Immortals, a bit of a slower start this time. Again, we're going to see players like Bolts just busting out onto the A-bomb site like they were before. Ricky and Kusa, however, take the duels right from the start. And okay, that's
what a flash.
Yeah, the flash didn't really impact Kusa at all there. It's a little bit off the mark. Ricky hits a shot. However, it is partially through, I believe, part of the train there, so it's only going to knock him down to 18 HP.
Lovely movement from Skill. He will clear out ladder room, but a smoke immediately blooms in his face as Kusta has Ethan now to support him towards Ivy. After getting the opening pick, Kusta's going to want to get some help. Now, Molly will make it a little difficult for Kusta to re-peek. Mollies tend to blur your vision once in a while, and KNG gets boosted on top server, and Kusta will peek right into his death, but Ethan has his back, and Ethan gets 2 for it. So a lovely trade from CLG, as Steel's going to try to make a play, and it leaves Bolts on 18. CLG, they're waking up this morning.
And there you go, CLG off to a hot start. We are going to see a timeout called by the Immortals. So they're going to take their tactical pause here. Second one so far from them.
I mean, if you can make Immortals use 2 pauses in the first half, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. And they're put into a situation, again, the economy's not really strong here, so at most we're going to be seeing half buys from the Immortals. Most players sitting right around 3K on average there. So they're in a pretty tough spot here. CLG starting to show a lot of consistency, winning the last 4 rounds straight. And not only that, but denying plants on all 4 of those rounds as well. We haven't seen Immortals get a plant in quite some time, since obviously they won their last round.
It's crazy too, this whole half's been kind of like an economy battle back and forth. Though the double ops have come out once from Immortals, they carried it into 2 rounds. It's been rough out here for Immortals to build a bank, and now CLG winning 4 in a row. Immortals using their second pause on round 14. CLG are definitely doing something right with his double op and getting aggressive now as FNS. I think he even knows exactly what they have as their arsenal, but he just wants to get this round over with, get number 9 on the board, as Kusta wants to peek this eventually. I think he's waiting for a flash perhaps from Ethan. Now he's just going to dry peek it.
Yeah, CLG haven't necessarily gotten away with a massive amount of bank on their own regard just yet. They, like 3 of their players have 1 full rebuy, some have 2 full rebuys, enough cash to go for those 2 full rebuys, I should say, built up. But it's not like they've built up a huge bank just yet or anything crazy. However, if Immortals continue to let them dominate on these eco rounds, then that may be the case. So they're going to have to try and look to at least do a little bit of damage. This should be interesting.
It's going to be a double as they fall.
And it doesn't work.
I love it in concept. I guess in practice, perhaps it doesn't work so well.
So Finesse has to do a bit of a double take there to figure out what exactly is happening. But after that, the other 3 quickly roll outside of T-Con, and that'll also be quickly shut down by CLG. 9-5 in the American team's favor, as we are going to be heading into the final round of the half.
I love that in practice because you're going to be, when you land on your player's head, you don't get the... You'll be recovering faster than the player on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea, especially when you only have upgraded pistols to go for that. But the issue is when your ladder falls from underneath you, and then you start falling again.
Because they're not actually touching the ladder, so they can actually shoot while they're falling. Because there's that thing you can do where you hit S as you fall, and it gives you 100% accuracy for at least 1 shot.
Lovely game.
Yeah.
I think who made a video on that? Was that?
Well, the thing that gave it a lot of attention was like early 2015 when Get Right did it in a game on the old nuke. I think that was against Astralis at the time, where he like dropped off of what was the catwalk over there outside and just wrecked someone on the way down.
And then Adren made a video about it. Now everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's no longer a trade secret.
That's how everybody figured that out then.
I like this aggression from CLG. We haven't seen them push T-Con yet. It's the first time they're doing it. It's on round 15. Ethan's going to push up to server as KNG, though. He's aware something's up. He's heard some flashes thrown in T-Con early on, so they are just going to hold back. FNS is going to play at least an angle to get 1 frag. But it looks like he's just going to play safe, smoke it, hold the back of the smoke. KNG's going to line up a smoke, same with Lucas. They may just wait out the smoke, and as soon as that dissipates, just transition into an A execution. They do have ladder control as well, Immortals. At least they will momentarily when that player drops down, but Ethan's making a play. He can catch them with smokes in their hands.
You'll note the pretty massive change in pace, too, as now we are going to see Ethan moving back in, finds one. Oh, that's the bomb as well. And all of a sudden, Finesse rolls in with 2 additional kills after he takes down Lucas. The entire hit is in shambles, and the bomb sits on the ground. There's nothing that Bolts can do except maybe pick up a few of these frags. 2 for him. See if he can get any more of the smoke walls blocking him from seeing anybody behind that. And a player from the CT side is going to contest, but not until he goes out and tries to get the bomb flash right into his face, too. So he's got to try and hide for a little bit. Can Ethan just finish this off nice and quick? Well, Bolts is about to run out of ammo, so certainly so, as Ethan will indeed shut it down. Beautiful team play from CLG there, as they win the final round of the half with class.
Yeah, it's so nice. The B player was calling that there's no action whatsoever towards ramp, didn't spot anything or hear anything. And with FNS having T-Con control the whole time, Ethan decided to lurk all the way up, and the call comes in to swing at the exact same time. Catch Immortals just throwing their smokes, no guns out. So 10-5, CLG, they're here to play today. I mean, this is, he's kind of said it on the desk. Day 1 CLG, a little rough. Day 2 a bit better, and he's hoping Day 3 can just be the final form of CLG. I know Moses will be proud of how Kusk is performing right now. I mean, he is 6-10, but that doesn't even matter. It's just the impact frags he's getting. The whole team as a unit is playing well. You can tell based on the map control they get, the way they're setting each other up. The ops are finding the frags that they need to, and the riflers are there to back them up. So I'm excited the way CLG are playing Immortals. All in all, 5 rounds on the T side of train. Definitely could be worse. So going into their CT side, I know they're going to try to get that double op probably online as quickly as possible. I imagine on the CT side, KNG possibly will take it over Henny for at least the first buy round. But we'll see what's going to play out.
Well, we're quickly into the second half pistol here, so we'll get to see how CLG fares. You were saying on the T side. One important thing to note, because I didn't get to make my full point there before everything got started in the last round, is what CLG did at the very least was they really made Immortals play so much more passively than they wanted to. Beginning of that half, Immortals are playing super aggressively. Bolts is not even waiting every round. He's just, running outside of either Ladder Room or T-Con to go out and get those entry kills, and that's when they were kind of trading rounds back and forth. But as CLG took control, we saw absolutely none of that from the Immortals in the late portion of the first half, and now because of that, CLG was able to play so aggressively. They were able to push forward. They were able to be the aggressive ones. They were able to be the ones that were shutting down Immortals before they even started their hits.
Grenade in from Bolts. Nice damage dealt. Ethan so low now, as Bolts is going to hold for the rotations, but Ricky still wins that duel somehow with a Glock, and Steel is gushed down to 5. KNG is going to be on this quick flank. He will be challenged, but no shots are being hit from Immortals right now. Ethan pushed up, gets shot in the back, but it doesn't matter, as the trades are all going CLG's way, and now it is a 2v4 retake.
Yeah, Lucas and Steel going to be pushing back up. There's only one player in the actual site. Everybody else just sitting back, and Ricky gets another kill against Steel. It's just Lucas here now. And as Lucas tries to hold on, he will finally get at least one player. I'm a little bit dumbfounded that they only take down 2 players after they started that round off with that ace nade that I'm pretty sure hit every single player on CLG for at least 20 or 30 damage. Some of them got hit for more than that. And somehow they only took down 2 of them.
Crazy good start from CLG. I mean, it comes down to a little bit of luck as well. If you can push these players back right off the get-go and the clocks can just rain on forward, you catch the rotator, you don't let the KNG, the flanker, get any frags. I mean, that's a flawless pistol round for you. And going into this, the typical buy on the second round, you'll see CLG going more of a rifle-based here. Ethan with the only one with that MAC-10. AKs and a Galil out. They're very light on utility, didn't want to go too ham on that sense, as they will have smokes though.
It's all quiet from CLG. They're not making a lick of noise as they creep up to the box halls here. Immortals is still going to look to aggressively contest KNG. He'll get flashed back out and immediately leads to his death. He's only able to do about 30 damage overall to Finesse. Few more players are still going to be waiting down in the B-bomb site, and as they push back in, they immediately spot them out. I like the instant check. They were just pre-firing on both sides of the spindle there to make sure that they took out whoever would be hiding in that spot, as it's a common place for these guys to hide. And the remaining 3 from the Immortals, they know they can't really do anything about this. They're not even going to try to contest exits. They're just falling back outside to the T hallway. And they'll try and save those guns for the next round so they can at least try to do a little bit of damage.
One thing to notice is KNG and Henny. KNG didn't buy anything, but Henny bought a P250. So that's almost a tell to me that they're going to try to get the double op really early, get it online immediately. That allows them to just have a solo B if they wish with the op. The rotator can be in Z with an op. There's a lot of things they can do, as we saw CLG on their CT side. So Immortals just going to go for that, I imagine, right into the first rifle round. And CLG not losing anyone in this round is really going to push up their economy. So it's going to be an uphill battle here from Immortals right off the get-go.
Well, they need some form of pressure at the very least here. Like I was saying, they kind of lost all the pressure they had in the first half here, so they need something to kick it back in again because CLG just feels like they can do anything around the map, and for the most part, they're pretty right about that. Immortals have been doing a pretty poor job of just contesting any aggressive pushes that we have been seeing from CLG for the last 5 to 10 rounds, even going back to the last half here.
But it's just, so to correct myself, it is just going to be Henny buying the op. KNG won't have enough. So even though he did just buy upgraded pistols, he went pretty ham when it came to utility then in that round. So
Steel has this one MAC-10. I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to do anything with it. Besides that, just a couple of upgraded pistols. We got the one Deagle in there for Lucas. Steel, a lot of nades getting tossed out here, and Lucas just kind of dry peeks into the Ivy hallway there, so gives himself away. We'll see Henny go back in, retrieving the Deagle, so they still have that in their arsenal at the very least. Losing one player like that is not the best way to start off the round. And now Ethan's going to start to creep forward here. There's quite a few players waiting outside. Probably is not going to be the greatest idea to repick that, but well, thankfully repicks it, and both the Immortals players have fallen back, so they're going to give him control of the Ivy exit. As Immortals switch up their defense to be more out on the site, and KNG attempts to hold against Ethan, but he comes out on top.
See how Ansi Skeel's going to be. No one from CLG are holding ladder. Actually, there's one player still lurking around there. It's Cutler. Yeah. He was the last one to bring up the rear for CLG. He makes sure to holds on to that. There's still a MAC-10 out on bolts, but shooting marshmallows at this point. You have no armor. One bullet will send your crosshair into nowhere. So just leaving Henny with the Deagle. And he is going to find a nice shot into Ricky. We'll see if he's going to be able to find a couple more scalps. As a smoke will right in towards Z. Henny knows there's one more player towards site. Not expecting this player close towards front red. But I think Henny just wants to take as many players with him as he can.
Yeah, and he's just looking for those headshot opportunities. CLG being careful about that, though. Trying to move around as slowly as possible and not give away their positions. Ultimately, though, they do need to escape this site to keep those guns in check. Kusta, you might want to run. Oh, all right, he holds on. He gets that one kill, but I think he's going to die now. I think he's a little bit too close. Can he make it? No way. He's dead for sure. The other two teammates do make it out alive, though. We will see Henny staying alive with the Deagle, but with investments coming back in, he doesn't save that much. He only saves the pistol, didn't have armor or anything behind it.
This is a big round for Immortals. They get the op out of Henny, they have rifles, but you can see how limiting the first buy on the CT side really is.
I mean,
it's crazy.
This could end the game right here.
Yeah, this is the swing round for sure. I agree.
Because CLG wins this, Immortals kind of have to eco next round. They probably actually might force, just considering the scoreline. But if we're playing normally, right, you have to save that next round, and then at that point, CLG looking in theory at 15-5, and it's pretty much impossible to come back from that scoreline.
Yeah, it's on Immortals to make a big play to this round or with the upgraded pistols. It's time's running out for them. They need a huge round. FNS is thinking about pushing out. KNG is going to be top blue, and there's Ethan from ladder. A clean frag on Steel. No one's there to trade it. KNG is going to try his best, but he has to still be worried about the player in T-Con. A great flash over allows bolts and KNG, though, somehow, while blind to find a frag. And all of a sudden, all Immortals are waking up, and it is just Kusta. A 1v4 almost gets the flick up, but Lucas hits the shot. And we said Immortals had to win that round, and keeping 3 alive is not a bad way to do it as well. Yeah,
finally some good consistency coming out from the Immortals, and as you said, it's not a round where they win it with just 1 or 2 players alive, as that could have put them in a potential reset position here now. They do keep themselves, for the most part, alive, and this is going to be great to try and build up a little bit of a bank and start to look towards that recovery. CLG, it looks like they do buy down about halfway through their money, so it's going to lead to this odd buy you see now. This is not a force. They all still have a pretty decent amount of cash left over, while still keeping 3 AKs and the 2 Tech 9s in check.
Yeah, Kusta and Cutler are pretty broke. The others do sit around $1,500, $2,000. So it's an interesting buy from them. With such the rounds the way they are right now, around 20, and it's 13-6. You got a little bit of wiggle room. It's a nade through the window. You don't see that too often. Kusta will go down to 84 HP. Is CLG going to line up with a little bit of utility to have for an execution? Z smoke, lane smoke. I imagine a molly will come out as well. Couple flashes over, the pistols will go first.
Yeah, so CLG looking to try and break Immortals on this round. They still have that lead, and they could just destroy their economy here and essentially win out the map by winning this round here. Nade's going back in. It should do some decent damage, and a great spray from Bolts is going to get him the double kill. He'll get traded back out by Kusta a moment later, but then Henny into the open lane to find yet another pickup here for this CT side. He takes down Finesse. Kusta's caught looking the wrong way as Lucas eliminates him, and while they will get a plant, Ricky Now is the last man standing, and he sees him there, trying to hide behind the bomb train, and he's not going to be alive for much longer. 7-13 will become the score as Immortals picks up their second round on the CT side.
It is going to be 2 rounds in a row for CLG plus the bomb plant. They could argue a buy here, although Cutler and Kusta are low in cash. We'll see how reserved they want to be based on the scoreline. I think armor and pistols is more likely, and I think that is going to be the outcome here. As Immortals, again, keep a decent amount of players alive. They keep 4 again, and they're starting to heat up. Steel's starting to hit some shots. Lucas and Bolts are waking up, and KNG still being the steady force right now for Immortals.
A split 5 all around the map here now for the Immortals. They're trying to explore quite a few options. CLG is going to try to go for a pretty straightforward execute through T-Con here. Nades going deep, however, a little bit too deep it seems. Ethan and Ricky just get hit for about 10 or so damage each on that one, so it's not a super successful name. They know what's happening though on the Immortals side of things. They've already committed pretty much everybody over here into this bomb site, and as you can see, it's a pretty quick shutdown. Ricky and Cutler are able to trade back a few frags at the very least. They're trying to push through the short lane, but they know what's happening. So Immortals fall back, they play a bit more passively. That doesn't seem to matter though. Cutler with another frag, traps Henny in heaven, knocks him out, and that's opened up an opportunity for a plant, along with evening the manpower back down to a 2v2 and pretty much just pushing the rest of Immortals' roster out of the site.
Cutler has an AK but no armor. That Molly puts him down to 34. It's on him to make a play on the site. FNS, though, is the first to strike with his Tech 9 as it leaves Bolts in a 1v2. The spray is good, but not enough. 41 HP. FNS will still be living as he's going to fall all the way back to E-Box. We'll see how prepared Bolts is.
I don't think Bolts realized.
No, the timing was perfect.
Oh, he just saw him there, though.
Oh,
so now he knows he's out, but look at this. Finesse is playing this so smart right now, just trying to waste as much time as possible. Bolts is going to take a risk. He's thinking it. I don't think FNS realizes that, so he's just gone for the straight-up ninja, and he gets it there. It's another round for Immortals as they continue to push forward.
That's so unfortunate for CLG. They put in the hard work there. They bought upgraded pistols, a couple sets of armor and utility on everyone, at least smokes across the board. They go for the execution and go for the scrimmy kind of pistol play, and it works out in their favor, but Bolts, as they say, pros don't fake, and he will stick that one and get the defuse, so 13-8. Double ops now will come out for Immortals. I knew it would come out eventually, a little later than I suspected, but KNG and Henny will have those, but CLG transitioned to a double op T side. So this is going to be a very slow round from CLG, but as I say that, Ricky wants to get the opening pick right off the get-go.
Very aggressive as he's pushed all the way out to Olaf already. And he does have a bit of a doppelganger sitting on the other side. The flash was great, but perfect. Ricky decides not to push on it, where he might have been able to get that kill if he had. So consequence to playing passive here now. And we can see both of these teams suffering from a bit of a confidence issue after they've lost numerous rounds in a row. We saw from Immortals in the last half, and to a small degree, nice shot from KNG. To a small degree, we are seeing that from CLG here in this half as well. KNG's actually going to continue to push forward too and try to punish anybody else that would push inside of T-Con. We'll see if that'll be successful. They don't actually have a lot of presence sitting around ladder room though, so Ethan might be the linchpin that can swing this the other way. Before he isn't able to be too successful though, he's going to have to take down Steel.
Nothing crazy from CLG right now. There's a default and let Ricky take a risk with his op. As Ethan is just going to be looking for something towards ladder. Steel is pushed up, but he's using that E-Box and Red Train to his advantage as KNG is going to be holding Ivy with the op. Deep Molly into ladder, and Steel's going to push on the back of it. That's two as KNG is going to find a leg on FNS. Looking more and more like an Immortals round, especially with KNG hitting shots like that. As they just Cutler and FNS, last two remaining, and FNS has taken significant damage.
Finesse is going to try to sneak back up. They actually don't see him at first, but quick adjustment from Lucas lets him get the kill. And now Cutler's been spotted, so they can try to lock him back down. They'll add one more to the counter before he is eliminated. And Immortals find yet another round. They're just 4 away now from tying this up. And CLG are going to take their second time out now, as clearly there's an issue with this T side.
Yeah, they're trying to, those double ops is pretty much just a pick default, right? You send Ricky out because he had spawn, jumps out, doesn't get spotted, but KNG shuts that down immediately. Then the rest of the players across the map feel pressure to do something. Ethan's trying to peek out the ladder. They know he's there. He gets mollied and pushed. The players at Ivy find no luck whatsoever. Due to them not having to worry about ladder push after clearing Ethan out, KNG can just focus on Ivy from back red and just lock it out. And CLG are going to go again with one of these investment buys. It's going to be light. We'll see. That's all in all, not too shabby for CLG. They get decent utility out. They get 4 AKs. Let's see what Kuska's going to have in his hands. I think he's rocking a P250. So 4 AKs on the board. And again, it's coming down to just breaking CLG's willpower right now. I mean, it's just Immortals stomping right now.
Well, for CLG, it looks like they are going to take heavy presence towards Ivy this time. Very heavy presence towards Ivy, actually. 4 players pushing towards it. And only one sits in ladder room. Try and change up their angles a little bit, add a bit more diversity to the push. KNG, however, is the one player set over here at Ivy to try and stop this, and he's immediately going to get smoked and molly comboed out, but he's got a molly of his own to try and restrict CLG at least a little bit here at the start. Immortals actually with a pretty odd setup in general here. There's a lot of focus towards that Z position and like steal towards heaven too. They kind of realize that, so they're going to branch out a bit more. Try to be a bit more active out on the site itself. They still have to be ready, as this push is going to be rolling in a moment. They re-smoke the other lane, so KNG can't really stop them as they push back in. And now they're ready to push out on the side. They've got a 2-man setup sitting outside of Ivy now. They certainly know something's up over here. Steel sitting in the corner trying to stop it. He gets 1. Ethan and Ricky trade out those kills, but Henny chimes in for a 3rd on the CT side. Ricky again showing up as the saving grace so far from CLG, as this gets tied back down to a 2v2. But CLG, they've only gotten into the short lane. They haven't been able to take control of the bomb train just yet.
This is going to hold the push, and he finds Cutler. So it is just Ricky alone. Does have 2 frags to his name, but Henny and Lucas not going to push at all. They're just going to hold the positions now. Henny's going to hold back green, spots the legs, and we'll wait for the body to be shown. Immortals get to double digits to CLG. The 4 AK buy is going to set them back a little bit. We're going to see these pistols once again. Last time we saw them go for this half buy with pistols, armor, and utility, they went for that execution towards A. Came down to the wire. We could see something similar, but we haven't seen too much success. I mean, plant-wise, it hasn't been too bad for CLG. 4 plants as half, but they haven't gotten 1 in 2 rounds. They'd love 1 in this situation.
Yeah, so Immortals are able to hold on, and now they go for the triple op setup.
This is so Brazilian. It hurts.
So they're going to go for the crusher here now, and it's on CLG's half buy as well. CLG, well, they did upset on one of these rounds back in the last half. It's been a while, and their eco/half buys and this T side haven't been too successful so far, so we'll see what they're able to do. Maybe they'll get lucky this time with their deagle shots. Well, the 1 deagle they have, so it'll be Ricky getting lucky, not the entire team.
KNG is being so aggressive with his own op. He is pushed up to pretty much the front red with an op. Rarely do you see that without having any kind of support. He does have Lucas holding Ivy and holding his back green, so he does have a little bit of help if need be. And these ops are just going to be posted. They're turrets at this point. So Pistol's getting ready to go down ladder. Great time molly from Immortals. Even a nade from Steel to follow it up, as there's 1 op ringing out as Henny going to be posted. Down, taking the bait, waits till Kusta shoulder peaks again, taking some significant damage. They're going to try to cross the site, but Bolts is rotating with perfect timing, and even through the smoke finds a 2nd as Cutler. Maybe a plant, actually. Oh, he's not going to go for it. He thinks he's getting pushed. Not shabby.
They do lose 1 of those ops in the process.
I don't think they're too upset about that, to be honest.
That was probably unintentional, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Steel tosses his over to Henny, and then there we go. That issue's fixed now. They're back down to the more moderate double op setup, I would say.
See if Kusta buys 1, actually. So they're going to still try to pressure this double op T side. Last time we saw this, Ricky got aggressive and got shut down. Kusta didn't have any effect with his, so it's going to be another pick kind of slow round from CLG. They're going to hold T-Con, they're going to hold for the Ivy push all the way from T-Spawn. Nothing too risky. But Immortals have pushed down Ivy in response to this. They're getting very aggressive across the map. 2 in upper brown, 1 player holding T-Con, and 2 pushing Ivy. So Immortals want to take the fight early in this one. And
he knows he's got an upper sitting up behind the rafters there in Whitehall as well. So they're going to try to play against that. KNG has moved out through Ivy, actually, and found Cutler. Immortals really trying to not give CLG any room to maneuver across the map. And so far, they're doing a pretty successful job at denying all of that pressure. And he's not going to be able to spot much, though, as CLG do switch the priority over to an outer hit. So they're not going to send anyone to box halls there. Ricky actually goes back in at the last second and is able to find Henny. So nicely done there. But the rest of the team is still set up to go out outer here. They're not going to be playing towards inner at all, but at least with the killing of Henny, it has switched up the player count for Immortals, but originally they were fully focused on outside. Now they've changed things up a bit, and they're going to have to rechange it in a second as Lucas sees them rolling out of T-Con and ladder room. They're going to need all the support they can get, and in comes CLG. Ethan with the first pickup. Still more to go as Immortals are held back. Bolts with a quick peek and a quick kill as well against Ethan, and another one against Ricky. This look is looking good for CLG at the start of this round, but all of a sudden, it's all falling apart. It's all on Kusta now in the 1v3.
Finds 1, finds a 2nd. Now it's just Kusta in the 1v1. No clue where he is, but gets shut down as Steel walks up, and now Immortals within 1 round retrieve the op and will put CLG back down to the pistol half buy again. This is going to be the 3rd time in this half. As CLG try to answer back, the double ops find picks, more specifically Ricky, as Kusta tries to do his best, but it just bolts locking it down as he flies out Z and just holds the site like a madman.
So as you were saying, just those upgraded pistols, Kusta not even going to have armor behind his. CLG have to do something different with these pistols. They need to start finding some damage into the equation here too. They have Immortals very, very low. If they can win, if they can win just 1 or 2 gun rounds and they can break these CTs. They've been trying to win this for how many rounds now? Like 7 or 8. And they've had Immortals so close to being economically broken the whole time, basically. But they just haven't been able to close out, despite how close they've gotten.
Yeah, if there's one thing CLG have been doing well is keeping these rounds close and forcing Immortals to rebuy these ops. So you're right, the economy from Immortals is definitely hurting. And Steel is going to get aggressive mid-round in towards ladder room. We'll see what CLG decide to really do with these pistols. Is Ricky's just going to peek for some information, spot the player towards Z, P250 at range. Kind of just hoping that the RNG gods are on your side as Bolts is going to hold the ramp. He has the op from Penny to hold upper. Pretty cut and dry right now.
Yeah, and I think the rest are just going to roll out a ramp, but okay. Ethan just destroys Bolts. Lucas quickly finds the trade onto the player, pushing in through Ivy. Henny also kills Ethan, and now Steel comes in on the flank. They deny the plant. No additional money for CLG. It's just Kusta, who did manage to work his way halfway up. Quick little headshot for him. But KNG sitting on top of the train he's hiding behind. We'll trade that back out, giving the round to Immortals, and now finally tying this game up at 13-all.
We may see Immortals rebuy a second op here. So again, CLG, even with just pistols, have forced out another rebuy on an op. So that's going to be Steel throwing it over to Henny. So again, they've done good damage on those pistols. Just a single op now. Kusta will be wielding it. Nothing for Ricky, but full utility. This is a full buy from CLG you've been waiting for. Has the 1 pick potential in Kusta. We'll see if CLG is going to get aggressive elsewhere. It's just Immortals, again, wanting to play aggressive from T side to CT side. And it's Ethan alone. He will win the initial duel. And more importantly, he's able to fall back and stay alive.
That's the important part there, that he keeps himself alive, doesn't get traded back out, so keeps the fight very much in the advantage of CLG. For Lucas, he has no choice but to fall back and play as the lone solo player here in the B bomb site. I'll have to keep a few of them close, and actually, no, they're going to commit 2. Actually, no, I think they're just switching the players up. Looked like they were going to have 2 on the inner bomb site, but I think they're just trading Bolts for Lucas as he's going to head outside, and Bolts will be that anchor on the inner site. He's, from the looks of things, going to have a whole lot of work to do, because I believe CLG are going to commit to that inner site in a moment here. However, they're being pretty loud about it, so Immortals are going to be given an opportunity to rotate a few players in before the hit even begins.
Now they'll pull the op over. He's going to push all the way into back trains. That's Henny. He's going to be holding towards upper. Very similar setup to what they did against the pistols. As Bolts this time just going to play back site instead of close ramp. As Ricky will have that smoke. It will deny the vision from Henny. He's even going to throw a molly behind it. Bolts, though, he's kind of the money man right now for Immortals. He can find the opener, gets caught looking, and Cutler swings on the back of that as Henny is going to try to find players crossing, but the bomb's already going down, and the op Akusta will ring out, so it's just double ops for the retake now for Immortals. And with 5 members of CLG alive, this is going to be a tall order.
KNG trades onto 1, ticking down Ethan, but still, with just 2 ops in the picture, they don't have a lot of wiggle room here. There's Henny with another one. CLG got to be careful. They're playing a little bit too aggressively right now. They do have Finesse sitting on upper with the 1 molly. However, KNG has the smoke sitting on his own arsenal to counter that. The good news is, though, is they have the 1 player that can completely negate all of this as they were falling back to save. You can see it coming into action there. Finesse takes out KNG. And he's got to be extra careful falling back, but they are giving this up. And finally, after so many rounds straight in the favor of the Immortals, CLG will be able to get that 14th round and maintain their lead.
Henny saves 1 up. And with 5,600 on KNG, 4,300 on Henny, Lucas has enough to buy. They're going to buy here. They're going to buy right into the double op. Lucas will get an M4, so it'll be 2 M4s, 2 ops. Steel will go with the CZ, look for him to push up towards red box. Try to get in the ladder, perhaps, or push in towards T-Con. We know how aggressive he likes to be when he has a rifle, so with a pistol, it could be extra so. As CLG will have the identical buy to the previous round. No harm, no foul there, but Immortals, the double ops, I mean, it's still very deadly, even if it didn't go off last round.
Yeah. This buy, though, is essentially the unknown struggle of Immortals that most of you guys probably haven't realized up until this point. We mentioned it a couple of times, but their money was actually never really in a good spot. Despite winning 8 rounds straight to tie it up, they were almost immediately broken after they lose 1 round here. But maybe they'll have a chance to hold it back together. As when CLG pushed towards Inner again, Bolts was able to immediately take down Ethan, and he's been one of the big players inside of these Insight gun rounds, so taking him out early is certainly going to be a big proponent to try and win this back out and tying it again. Kusta misses what should have been a straightforward shot to trade it back down into a 4v4, so now that's opened up more opportunities for the Immortals. Look at this though, Ricky pushing in, but Henny saves his teammate's life, keeps the Immortals in the advantage position. Kusta trying to spot something through the smoke, but there's not much to be seen. Everyone from Immortals has pushed up onto the site. Finesse is going to look to flank again though, so we'll have to see if this comes out on top or if he is going to be spotted. Cutler pushing back in. Finesse did get the kill, but look, they're sneaking in the defuse again. Kusta's going to throw the volley, but it's way too late. It won't even matter. They'll get that defuse for a second time in this half. And Immortals, there you go, once again, tying it up at 14-14.
See, that's Kusta giving a lot of time for FNS to make a play. I imagine he heard the defuse, but didn't want to take the peek, giving time to FNS. He had a teammate towards ramp. Ramp player goes down. Kusta doesn't want to jiggle it. There's still so many Immortals players alive. They had 5 alive for so long during that retake that Kusta just was scared to peek. As CLG, though, bomb plant, 1 round loss. This is them just emptying their bank accounts. Very similar to the Immortals buying the previous round. Pretty much identical to what Immortals had, just plus more utility. As Immortals will have the single op, rifles out. And we'll see if Kusta's going to heat it up. They need one of these oppers to really just open the map now. As CLG would love to get an execution in.
And Immortals got to be feeling pumped about winning that round there. Sneaking out a defuse for the second time in just this half alone. Ooh. All right, Kusta, calm down.
He's going to do it again.
You're lucky he only lost 25 HP off that. But other than that little bit of action there, everything stays quiet on the map early on. Flash is going to go out, though, and Kusta is going to start this bit of a push. He will have to be careful. You can see quickly goes back inside of T-Con and reflashes that, but KNG is just, oh, what's going on over here? So he calls it out to his teammates, takes down the player a little bit further back, and T-Con and Henny, the opper, finds Kusta before he can really get further out there. Lucas with a swing out from Ivy as well, finds an additional pickup. It's now down to just a 5v1 with Bolts getting the touchdown nade kill on Ethan. Ricky, the last man standing, not even really close to any of this action either. He's just now finding himself lurking in a T-Con. What can he do? Nothing, really.
Yeah, and staying alive for 30 seconds is a rough ask for a team like Immortals. They're definitely going to hunt. They've had the hunting itch all weekend, so I don't think that's going to change here. Knowing that Ricky is an opper, and he hasn't even fired a shot, so they don't know he has it, but it's a safe assumption. He's going to run all the way to T-spawn. 15 seconds for Immortals to hunt. They're clearing every part of the map. But based on how slow Immortals are taking it, Ricky should be able to hold on to this, but CLG's next buy is going to be scraping the bottom barrel. They'll have $1,900 from loss.
KNG's going to go for the kill.
Barely anything, yeah. KNG wants to commit to this. 2 seconds.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yeah,
that's too easy for Ricky.
Yeah. This buy is going to be worse than those pistol half buys I normally get.
Yeah, about anywhere between 2,000 and 2,800 left over for CLG. Ricky's going to have the only big gun. I mean, we'll see. Since they still have 2 remaining, another timeout used by CLG. They might as well, right? As they really need to figure out a game plan here. This buy is going to be suboptimal, so they need to bust up the big strats now. Otherwise, Immortals is going to pull off this incredible comeback and win map number 1.
And it's just crazy how the whole time we talked about it, and it's an interesting talking point of how broken Immortals were while still winning. It hasn't been CLG not being able to find frags. They've been fragging out. They've been finding the kills. It's just clutch rounds from Immortals. Certain players stepping up and winning these X on, like, 1-on-X retakes. The holds from Immortals, but more important, the rotations and staying alive in the retakes. A couple rounds ago, when they got the Ninja defuse, they had 5 alive for the longest time during that retake, even with FNS on the flank, and he only was able to find 1 frag for it. So it's just been Immortals being aggressive on their CT side, same with T side, and these double ops have just been finding at least a frag apiece every round.
I didn't really think it's a lot of 1vx situations. It's mainly just CLG like continuously whiffing in post plants, it seems.
That doesn't help either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they'll have like a 3v3 post plant or something like that, and then they'll just get completely crushed by Immortals on retake. The communication's not there, or they're taking bad positions. It doesn't let them trade properly, or something along the lines of that. Because every time the post plant just falls apart for them. It looks like they're going to actually just go pretty straightforward here on what could be, or what is actually the final round of regulation. They move back out. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Lucas, he's unable to multi-frag. Regardless, though, it is going to scare some players from the side of Immortals, but they're getting back that control. Steel and KNG both picking up kills. Another one for KNG, and finally, Henny will shut it down as Immortals take control over map number 1 of this semifinal. 16-14. It goes all the way to round number 30. But the Brazilians pull off an incredible comeback, starting off down 13-5 at the beginning of this half, and they bring it back.
That's just crazy. Immortals started on the T side very aggressive, and they tried to keep that pace throughout the entire game. even on the CT side, where you saw Steel was always being aggressive towards front red. He had support from KNG, who was just hitting amazing shots from top green that entire CT half, and that kind of transitioned to them just racking up rounds after rounds after rounds. CLG did, credit to CLG where it's due. They found frags to keep Immortals in check, but never had the opportunity to really reset them and put them down. They had it once, but immediately Immortals just recovered and kept 4 alive the round after. So it's just rough. So much firepower in Immortals, and everyone on their team actually showed up today in the first game.
All right, guys, well, that second map here is coming up in just a little bit. Do stick with us, and we'll be right back after this break.